In this video, we're going to speak of the framing above the basement, the framing above the living room, and the framing above the porch, back porch, and then the framing at the second floor, which rests on top of the kitchen. Okay, so this is what your drawing will eventually look like. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump over to this model I'm building. And as mentioned in lecture today, this framing, this wall, is 26 feet 1 3/4. So that's just because the siding and sheathing is added onto the wall here. It's not down here at this 26 foot by 26 foot basement. So from core face exterior of the concrete block to core face exterior concrete block, everything is golden here. So I'm going to overlay structural framing here. Notice I'm in the structural plan. And then we'll copy this and we'll paste it over here when we eventually get to this, and I'll probably do that right after we do this. Then we'll come back and visit the framing here. And we'll come back and visit the framing here. Okay, so in this level here, these items that are on the gray underlay that I'm clicking in blue, if I press delete, you see they go away. So let me undo that. What you ought to do, what you need to do, is go to your layers, go to gray underlay, and then lock it. And then if you try to delete a line, it'll highlight, I believe. It just won't go away. It's hard to, you just can't delete it. It's stuck there. It's what you want. Now, let's go ahead and we're going to lay out some framing in here. On the structural layer, let's call up a line. And with down here, OSnap, object snap turned on, I don't even need the grid right now. I can just go from the corner of the concrete block to the corner of the concrete block. And you can see you're putting a black line on top of a gray line. And that works. But I might turn it into a magenta line. Something similar to Revit, just to emphasize what I'm putting down. Is these are the rim joists. So this is the timber strand rim joist product. I'll press escape. Let me click on this thing and just say, okay, just because you live in the structural layer, I want you to be a little more fancy. You'll be magenta. And let's make it a little bit thicker. Not too thick. I'll make it 0.2. Now, I'll have to hit my line weight thickness needs to be turned on down here. So press escape. And yeah, I kind of like that. So what I'll do is I'll use match properties. It's like, you're a rim joist. Timber strand rim joist, and so are you, and so are you, and so are you. You might remember that when we had a boundary in Revit. Now let's do the same thing on the interior where the staircase is. So let me get zoomed in. I'm in the structural layer. It's going to be a black line, and I'll click here. And so, what I got to do. The first step we're going to have plywood all over here, and we'll have plywood above the first step. So really what we ought to do is someplace over here. Yeah, tell you what, I'll click here. Notice there's a 2-inch gap there. We'll finish cleaning that off in a second. But if you come down here and go past this tread, past the stringer, that's the support stringer. Click there, that's the wall. So if you click there, go all the way in, all the way to, and let's turn on ortho, so it only goes left to right, up or down. Come all the way in to, because I didn't want to accidentally come up to here. Come all the way to here. Then I'll come up to here. And I bet you I want to come to here. This is probably where the stud is. I'm suspicious what that is. No big deal. I'll come over here and I'll try to close it off. Let me just click it here. Let me see if it worked. Okay, good. So I'll use a fillet command to connect those. So these 4 lines I just put in, let me turn those things also into purple. So I'll go to match properties, and I'll click this thing, and I'll touch here, and here, and here, and here. Don't do this. Remember, that's on the structural layer. It'll change. But you won't be able to change any of these gray things because they're on the gray underlay layer, which is locked. Okay, so this is the rim joist, the hole cut in the floor, again, with some timber strand product. Well, the next thing you're going to do is offset this thing 2 feet. and then make it into a black line. I'll show you what's going on. Let's copy the offset command, and the distance we'll type in 24 inches. Take this magenta line and then throw it out here. Now I don't want this to be a magenta line. I want this line to be just a black line on the structure layer. So I'll go to match properties and I'll click here to here. Wait, here. Thank you. Now this sucker here, this is the one I want to offset 2 feet on center. So here I go. Well, the offset command at 2 feet, I'll press enter. Then I'll click here and throw it off to the side. I'll click here and throw it off to the side. And I'll do this thing one more time and I'll pause. Because right now I can't have a joist here because I'll trip over it. My face will hit it. So let me press escape. I'm done offsetting. Let me use the trim command. With the trim command in AutoCAD 2020, all you have to do is approach this line that you want to go away and click it. But you probably have to do it a few more times because what it did, it found a boundary here, a boundary here, and a boundary here. And then keep going, get rid of that, keep nibbling away at it, and that looks good there. Yeah, maybe this purple line should have been down here on the gray line. This is close enough. So these floor joists here, they will rest on the concrete block wall with a mud sill on it. And these floor joists, they will rest on the 2x4 wall. Now take the rest of these things and offset them at 2 feet on center. So here you go. Offset 2 feet. I'll go here. I'll keep doing this. Yeah, the video is going to get kind of longer, but let me just finish this out and I'll explain something one more time. Come on. Okay, I'll hold off there for the moment. I'll show you what we're doing. Now notice as I'm offsetting here, the furnace ductwork and the return air ductwork, it'll miss these bones. So we've got the mechanical lined up nicely down below. Okay, one more joist. Good. Now what I'm going to do is I'm done offsetting for the moment. I'll press escape. I'll use the extend command. And with the extend command in 2021, let's see how it behaves. Go to the tip of the line and, well, let me see. Try this one more time. The extend command, maybe it's the same as the previous versions of Revit. If I press the extend command, it says select object to extend or shift. Okay, yeah. Then I think I touch the tip of this. And then do I touch the tip of this? I don't know. Okay, hold on. Let me try this one more time. We're going to learn something here. Extend. And yeah, what it keeps on doing, you have to keep marching down, which is a pain in the butt. Okay, that's fine. I press escape a few times. All you have to do is, with the ortho turned on, click on the line, grab this blue box, and drag it down straight. So with ortho turned on and O snap, this will come down and it'll go perpendicular. Okay, press escape. So the extend command, let me press escape a few times. The extend command, we had too many crossing lines. So things just kind of got in the way. Now something else I discovered here. Yeah, good. Take a look at this. Notice how this this gray line here. Well, what's this? Yeah. Notice that we can't see this gray line. Well, there's a drawing order. If I click this and right click and go to drawing order and bring it to the front, okay. Now this gray wash machine doesn't cover that. And there's some images in the packet that are problematic that way. You see a missing joist, and what happens is, yeah, some of the line got in its way. Now let me offset the rest of these things 2 feet. So offset at 2 foot, I'll press enter, and I'll click here and throw it off, click here and throw it off. And I don't have to click here. There's a 2 foot gap here, okay? Now I'll leave it at that. I'm gonna pause the video so I can try and get my thoughts. Okay, I'm back. I'm going to copy all this framing, and yeah, it's probably going to grab some of these dimension lines, which we can delete. I'm going to copy all this stuff, and I want to paste it over here. Now, I mentioned that this house grew by 7/8 of an inch all the way around because of the siding and sheathing. Well, because of that, what's this? Let me try something. Yeah. is, remember, let me turn off OSnap and that. No, I did want OSnap turned on. Give me a second. I'm going to figure out something. If I try to click on this gray line, and let's see if I can delete it. I can't delete it because it's locked, which is fine. It's good. But here's what I can do. With OSnap, I'm going to just draw a line, a little distance out here, press enter. I'll call up the line command again and do another line. So this is finish face exterior. Okay? I want to offset both those lines in towards the studs by 0.875 inches, and that will get me to the core face exterior. So use the offset command, and we're going to put in 0.875 inches, and I'll click this line here and down and here and down. Then, watch this. Let me click with OSnap. Let me click right here. I'm going to just draw a line out here long. Press escape. Now let me delete these lines here and delete these lines here. This point is the corner, the very corner of the 2x4 stud walls. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy these magenta lines and all these black lines from here exactly to the tip of this. So here we go. See, and then I'll explain what the heck is happening. So I'll call up the copy command, and I'll create a box. I'll zoom in here. I'll create a box. I'll copy from here. And notice, see this blue thing here? Watch. When I go past that dimension line, since that dimension line is not 100% covered, it's not going to capture that. So that one's going to go away. But I'll probably have a few other dimension lines going to go with it. No big deal. But I'll come across diagonally at the corner, and I will go to here just a little bit. Well, you know what? Yeah. Let me take it to here. I could see that this magenta. I'll tell you what. Yeah, I'll take it to here. So I copied all that. It says it found 361 objects. Then it says I'm done copying what I want to copy. So I press enter because I could copy more stuff. Then it says specify base point. So I'll say, okay, starting from this point of origin right here, I want you to, again, you probably have to make sure that ortho is turned off, but OSnap needs to be on. Come over here and go to the tip of this. Click. Again, perfect. We can delete this thing because this was just a temporary placeholder. Let's come down here and I'm going to clean up a couple of things. This magenta line, it was a little bit too long. Let me use the fillet command and I'll clean this up. Okay. And on this purple, that's our rim joist. This purple, that's our rim joist. And fortunately, it looks like my staircase all lines up. And then quite frankly, I could use the eraser command, and these little lines here, I can delete. Because those are those little lines, that was for the access for the ductwork and for the crawl space. Oh, one thing else. Notice this is the kitchen below. Something else we don't need to see is call up the eraser command, and we can get rid of this line, this line. Oh, what's this? I'll just do a box, a green box. So I'm going from left to right, and I'll capture that. I could do the same thing here from left to right. Well, maybe I can, maybe I can't. Oh, I just discovered something too. I still see some gray dashed lines underneath. Let me get rid of these dimension lines. Okay, I haven't got everything solved just yet, but I'm glad this kind of worked out. Let me do it again. Sorry. Yeah, bear with me. I know it's going to be a longer video. There's something else. Okay, good. I'll get rid of this. I don't need it. I'll click there and press delete. Or I'm going to try to delete it. Good. Now let me save the file. Now where I was going, what I discovered is, no. Okay, we're good. That's nice and clean. I like that. That's nice and clean. Because we got rid of that dashed line that was all around here, and that was the footing. So let's pretty good. Now the next thing I'll do is let's just talk about the framing here. what I can do is, since the perimeter of my living room, that's going to be a rim joist, I'll simply use the match properties, and I'll click here, and I'll click here. Remember, this could be a slightly thicker line too, I believe. And this is going to be the rim joist, the timber strand rim joist around the perimeter. Because the black lines out over here, they're not 2x12 floor joists, they're I joists. They're 11 7/8 I joists. Good. And I think I'm done. I'll press escape. Once again, let me offset this first line here, not by 7/8 of an inch. Let's go back to the 2 feet. So down here, I'll type in 24. And then I'll click this and throw it off to the side. I press escape. I use the match properties, and I'll take this, here's my paint bucket, then I'll touch this. So this is a floor joist. Now, I'm going to offset this thing at 2 feet on center, but I'm going to put pause, and you'll see I offset this 2 feet on center, and we'll come back. Okay, so I offset all this stuff at 2 feet on center. These have to be a bit longer. So we use the extend command, and with the extend command, if I hit the tip of this, hold on, look at that 2 foot. It still wants to offset some stuff, sorry. I have to press escape a few times. Offset does that. Sometimes you have to press escape a couple times. I use the extend command. Watch this. As I go to the tip here, click it once, you gotta do it again, you're gonna have to do it again. Okay, good, right at the rim joist. Do this thing 1, 2, 3 times, and you're good. Okay, now the next thing I'm gonna do is, we have a girder running down through here. So call up a line, and again, we're in the structure layer. Go to the midpoint of this purple sucker, and we can have ortho turned on. Come all the way down, and you will see 18 feet away. Perfect, we got that. Okay. Now, but this is going to be a girder, and we'll take this thing and we'll make it thicker. And maybe it's going to be about, I don't know, 0.35, maybe 0.4, 2.4. So this could be a big fat 6x girder. This girder, it's going to pocket halfway in to this concrete wall. So let me call up the offset command, and I'm typing 3 inches, and I'll click this thing and throw it up temporarily, press escape. I'll click the beam, and I'll pull it back 3 inches. Perfect. Then I'll get rid of this line. Sacrificed it. Undo. I'll get rid of this line. Delete. Good. So this beam pockets halfway into the concrete. Same thing happens here. There's other ways I can shorten this, but this is just the easiest way. Visually, I'll explain what's going on. Use a 3-inch offset. We'll do this thing here. Throw it out into the middle. Good. And then I'll press escape. I'm done offsetting. I'll click here, and I'll drag this blue dot back to here. Roll out and delete that line. Good. So there's my girder. Now, dead center of that girder, let me find the dead center of that girder. It's probably around here, midpoint. Yeah, perfect. Here's the midpoint. Click here and click here. And what we want from the center here is going to be a 14-inch round pier. So call up a circle, and that's a detail number 13. It's in the packet. If you click here, throw your mouse out. It's looking for a radius. Look at that, the very bottom of the screen. It says circle, specify radius. So I'll just type in 7. Okay, and that is my, so that is my pier. I also knew from my details that I wanted a 30-inch by 30-inch pad around here, square pad. So let me take this line here. I'm going to offset it 15 inches, and then you'll see where I'm going from here. If I go offset, and I type in 15 inches, click here, and throw it off to there. Then, watch this. From here, I'll draw a line. Half of 30 inches is 15 inches. I'll go up 15. Enter. I'll go down 30. I'll go over 30 inches, and I'll go up, 30. Press escape. I'll delete this line here, and I'll delete that line here, but then I use the fillet command to click here and to click here. Then I'll use the match properties, and I'll take this dashed line because this is a 30-inch by 30-inch pad. We didn't model it in Revit, but I think I did in the packet for Revit. But this is just going to be a post. It's going to support this beam, and it'll rest on this pier, which will rest on this pad. And that detail, again, is in the packet. Now, so I'm done with that. Let me turn off match. I'll press escape to turn off match properties. Now, if you remember, we had a 6x6 post here and here. Let me offset these two lines by 5.5 inches, and you'll see why. Offset 5.5. And I'll throw this thing off to the side, inside. Throw this in here, and throw this thing here. Yeah, tell you what, let me use the, that's what I'll do. Let me put an X inside. Now, I need to turn off ortho. I want to put an X in here, enter, Alt line command, put an X in here, enter. Do the same thing on the other side. So an X in here, and then an X in here. Okay, so let me copy, watch this. Let me copy this pier and this pad, and I'm going to take it from the midpoint. I'm going to paste it over to one of those posts. Okay, so here we go. Copy, and I'll make a box from right to left. And if I click here, it found 5 objects. It was the 4 lines and the 1 circle. I'm done selecting objects. Press enter. Down here's the specified base point. Well, dead center of that circle, or the middle of that 6x12 beam, click there. And again, with ortho turned off, come over here, and I want you to go to the center of the 6x6 post. Okay, good. We're almost there. This pad's too big. It wants to be 24 by 24. So offset these 4 lines in by 3 inches. So call up the offset command, type in 3, and throw this thing in towards the middle. Throw it towards the middle. Throw it towards the middle. Throw it towards the middle. Good. Use the fillet command. Click here to here. Press enter. Click here to here. Press enter. Click here to here. Press enter. Click here to here. Then you can use the eraser command and delete the original 4 lines. Because this pad, there's not much weight on it, so it can be a smaller pad. I'll press enter. Now, copy this thing from the center of this post here to the center of this post here. Press escape. We could delete this line and delete this line and delete this line. But just to make this thing look like a post, go ahead and, with OSnap turned on, just put in a few 5.5-inch lines here and do the same thing here. Just put a few 5.5-inch lines. Okay, so this shows me the bones fairly well here. This shows me the bones fairly well here. And so the next step, the next video, because we're at 23 minutes right now, it's just going to be some minor notes that and it's going to be kind of tedious, but I'll just explain some of those in the next video. So this is the end of 6.4. This is AutoCAD floor framing.